What do we change? Everything. What do we process X events? Yeah. So we want to delete I. So if I is 0, J starts at 1. If we want 0 to become 1. Yeah, 0 to become 1. Oh shit, yeah, that... that's not right at all. I think we own this memory, so, and on this one thread, this is going to be a real problem if we have more threads doing this stuff, which is probably reasonable, honestly. Um, we'll probably just have to have an event thread that we may... I think that's an architecture change we can make if we have to. So ideally you want every thread writing directly into the memory that it can, essentially. And you don't want to make lots of copies or lots of allocations. That's kind of the ideal. Yeah, having to coordinate with multiple threads. So the pattern that gets around this is kind of the work queue. Um, in the sense of that all the threads processing the video submit their work to a central queue that then pulls the work from there, and the central queue would also process these events. So what the central queue can do is essentially just when it gets work that's no longer valid, say maybe it keeps a token even of that it gives to all the threads or to all the workers and says, hey, can you submit this token with your requests? And if the token's out of date, it's bad request, just throw it out. And it doesn't matter, you don't need to synchronize the setting of that new token because bad requests are just thrown out, so it doesn't matter. As long as your threads take the token at the start of their work, not at the end. But the problem is you need to put those results somewhere. So when your worker does a bunch of work, you need to submit it to your queue, which processes it. Or your, uh, I don't know what you want to call it, but the one that processes all your events, that thread, um, it needs to process the work, which means the work needs to be on the queue. The main problem is, okay, you don't actually need to do that. So what I was going to say is the main problem is you need to copy the results from your workers to this queue. And that means, well, so I was thinking when I was a mere lad 10 seconds ago, when I was but a young man, a boy, if you will, um, I thought that would mean um, allocating a new piece of memory, copying the result in there, putting that on the queue for every time you finish work. But in this case, I don't think you need to do that because if you imagine splitting up the screen into multiple regions, which I don't think is a good idea, by the way, um, or maybe even to multiple windows is maybe a better idea. What you can imagine is you can just imagine a flag or maybe a pair of flags on your you have one piece of memory where yes, okay, the worker needs to copy its result into there, but because the type of task we're doing means that you can like skip work, so to speak. Like the workers can do work that we don't action, and that's not really a big deal. For instance, hey, if we process something a frame or two or five, whatever, too late, that kind of doesn't matter. Especially if we're trying to maintain an FPS budget, then there may be a lot of room we have where workers aren't doing anything. But even if they're working as fast as possible, if we don't process 5 frames, that's really not a big deal. Although X is running so slow, that may actually be a deal because 5 frames may be quite jarring. But in principle, if X was running at say 100 frames a second, if we miss 5 frames, that's really not a problem. So if our workers process 5 frames, the workers can check the queue and see, oh, my last work still hasn't been processed. I'm just going to do nothing. And so that way you don't need to... And that way what you can do is you can get away with having only one piece of static, well, maybe dynamically, but one piece of allocated memory per worker. And the worker just checks if their last work has already been processed before they start. Anyway, that was a long time explaining something that we're not going to do, so let's move on. Now, did I fix this? No, I didn't fix that. I think I fixed this. Fuck. Okay, next problem, we're fixing that one. Yeah, we're fixing that one, because that's a pain. Oh man, I need to get a new chair. This one's so noisy. It didn't used to be this noisy, you know. That's how they get you. You sit in the chair and you think, I know how this chair sounds. And then a couple of months later, it's like a different chair. It's like I don't even know it anymore. What are we trying to fix? The out of bounds? Yeah, we can do that. I'm tempted to kind of override it directly, but I don't think that's a good idea. So what we're going to do, we might just do min x, min y, I think. Yeah, so might go min x, min y, max y. Mix y. Maybe we can try maxing y. We're y maxing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go min x equals min or max of 0 and I need to think about this. Because here, if geom x is negative, do we need to make this min x? Because we need to adjust this coordinate system. I think the min adjustments come down here. No, so... How do I know if it's in the screen? Because it's always 0, 0. No, it's not. It's relative to the parent, so it can be negative. I think I want this to be, that. Why does that disappear? Because this is negative? I don't think that's right. I think that's right. So the max x is, yeah, because if it's minimum, we want to adjust where we're processing from. If it's negative, we want to skip some. If it's too big, we just want to stop. So I think I do want... I think I do want this to be the minimum of geom width and the screen. Minus geom x, so if geom is negative, so if the width is bigger but it starts negative, yeah, we can go the whole width. I think that's fine. And then I think I just want this to be min x. Why can't I see it? Okay, so I haven't fixed that problem. Clearly. You minx, you. What? Oh, yeah, okay. No. No, that's not right either. No, that's right. I think. Okay, not entirely. Yeah, so it just disappears. Okay. Okay, well, I don't want that. I am unconvinced. Why did I think this was the minimum? I think it should be the maximum. And I think I can just get away with that, right? Okay, so it just disappears entirely, which